In the days of the prophet Elisha, God's power moved among his people in extraordinary ways. This is the story of a woman's faith, a mother's heartbreak, and a miracle that revealed the Lord's power over life and death. Far away in the town of Shunem lived a wealthy woman with a generous heart. She often welcomed Elisha, the prophet of God, whenever he passed through her town. Recognizing him as a holy man of God, she and her husband built a small upper room for him, a place with a bed, a table, a chair, and a lamp. It was an act of kindness, but God was about to reward her in a way she never expected. Elisha, moved by her hospitality, asked, "What can be done for you?" Though she claimed she needed nothing, Gehazi, Elisha's servant, noted that she had no child, and her husband was old. Then Elisha spoke a prophecy. "About this time next year, you shall embrace a son." The woman was stunned. "No, my lord, do not mislead your servant, O man of God." But just as the prophet declared, a year later, she gave birth to a son. The boy grew strong, but one day, while in the fields with his father, he cried out, "My head! My head!" His father sent him home, and there in his mother's arms, the child died. Can you imagine her anguish? The promised son, the miracle child, was gone. Yet this mother's faith would not let her bury him. She carried her son upstairs, laid him on the prophet's bed, shut the door, and set out immediately to find Elisha. She saddled a donkey and told her servant, "Do not slacken the pace unless I tell you." Her husband asked why she was going to the prophet. It was neither new moon nor Sabbath. But her reply was simple and full of faith, "It is well." When she found Elisha at Mount Carmel, she fell at his feet, grief pouring from her soul. Gehazi tried to push her away, but Elisha saw her anguish and knew the Lord had hidden the matter from him. Elisha sent Gehazi ahead with his staff, instructing him to lay it on the boy's face. But when Gehazi returned, he reported, "The boy has not awakened." Then Elisha himself went into the house. The mother had placed her son lifeless on his bed. Elisha shut the door behind him and prayed earnestly to the Lord. Elisha stretched himself upon the child, mouth to mouth, eyes to eyes, hands to hands, and as he did, the boy's body grew warm. He walked back and forth in the room, then again stretched himself upon the child. Suddenly, the boy sneezed 7 times and opened his eyes. Imagine the moment, the silence breaking into joy as life returned. Elisha called for the Shunammite woman and said, "Take your son." Overcome with gratitude, she fell at his feet, bowing to the ground, before embracing her living child once more. This was more than a mother's joy. It was a testimony. God is the giver of life, and through his prophet, he showed his power over death. The Shunammite woman's faith reminds us that even when everything seems lost, the Lord is able to restore. Her story still speaks today. Trust God in the darkest hour, cling to his promises, and believe that he can turn mourning into dancing, despair into hope, and death into life.